So in the beginning of the story, we are shown a child named Andrew playing in a park. At this time, he had a toy in his hand, Shuckle D, which he liked a lot and kept it with him all the time. At this time, Andrew's mom, who was standing next to him, got a call. On the other side of the call, the man was trying to harass him, was bothering him. And at this time, she was so upset that she didn't even know how long Andrew had been calling her. Andrew was actually seeing Shuckle D in the jungle, who was calling him to himself. After the call was switched off, Andrew's mom turned around and saw that Andrew was not there. She got scared and left. Her neighbor Emily and her mom Anna also saw. Andrew went into the jungle to call Mr. Shuckle D, but he couldn't see Mr. Shuckle D in the jungle. Suddenly, he saw Mr. Shuckle D's shadow again, behind which he ran, and suddenly someone attacked him from behind. The scene cuts, and we find out that at night, the police are also looking for Andrew in the jungle. And with the police, Andrew's dad is also there, who is also a police officer. After searching a lot in the jungle, they first find Andrew's toy. And after that, they found Andrew at a distance, who was now dead. Andrew's dad was shocked to see him and went crazy. He had lost control of himself. The rest of the officers took care of him. The next day, an investigation was going on Andrew's case. The police believed that the animals had killed Andrew because there was a sign of an animal attack on his body. But it was also possible that someone had murdered Andrew. In this connection, 2 FBI agents come to hand over this case. Senior officers tell FBI agents that you have wasted your time on this case. Clearly, the child died in an animal attack. But then the FBI agent told him that Andrew's neck bone was broken, which means his neck was twisted and killed. And the signs of animal bite on his body were after his death. Hearing this, the police officer says that you have just made a story in your mind. In response, the other FBI agent replies that this is not a story. There is a doctor on the street. What she is saying is not wrong. The theory she is telling you is based on the post-mortem of Andrew's body. Now the FBI agent guides the police officers on how to find the killer. The way Andrew's neck was twisted and killed. It was definitely the work of a young and strong man. That is, the age of the killer could be between 19 and 42 years, and only a professional killer could do this. Or someone who had a crime record, and the one who knows Andrew's family, and also knows the timing of Andrew's arrival at the park. Hearing all this, the police officers leave from here, after which these 2 FBI agents talk to each other. Agent Walters tells Kelly that, "I think this is not the work of a human being. Maybe it's the work of a spirit or something else." Kelly listens to him carefully. He says that there was a woman here in the 16th century who, with the help of some magic, some rituals, opened the door of hell, and he believes that he had relations with the devil. Maybe this case is a part of that case. Hearing all this, Kelly says, "Oh, come on. This seems like a story from a book. Can we focus on the case?" But Walters tells Kelly here that the cut mark on Andrew's body, it was not the mark of a common animal. It was a sign of such a dog, about which I know that he is the guardian of the underworld. Actually, they are spiritual dogs. After hearing this, they go back to their office and check Andrew's dead body again, because until now, they did not understand the reason for Andrew's death. These people now touch Andrew's feet, so they feel something strange there, like salt or sand on his feet. After this, they check the file, in which they see the picture of jackal teeth twy, which they got from the murder site. Both of them wonder that what is the relation of this twy or jackal teeth with this murder. From this report, they also know that the eyewitness of the murder has not been interviewed yet, and the eyewitness of this murder was a little girl, Emily. She was Andrew's neighbor, and in fact, Emily's father was the chief police officer, from whose hands this gift was taken. Both of them were given to the FBI agent. That's why they decide that after Andrew's funeral, they will go to meet Emily and her mother, Anna, where it is shown that Andrew's dead body had not yet come to the funeral of Andrew in the church. And because of this, Andrew's dad was very upset. He asks the other police officers that why the FBI agent is not releasing Andrew's dead body yet. Then the officer tells him that the FBI agent thinks that Andrew has been murdered. Anyway, the end of the scene is said to be that Agent Mulder was at Emily's house, at Andrew's neighbor's house. That little girl was not able to answer his questions well, and so his investigation was not moving forward. Emily had only been able to tell him that she had only seen Andrew going into the jungle. After saying this, she gets lost in her TV show. But here, Emily's mother Anna discusses with Mulder that she had also seen Andrew disappearing in the jungle. And as soon as she saw this, she got very scared, and is still scared. because this can happen to her son at any time. Saying this, Anna goes to do some work from here, while Mulder gets up and starts checking his house. Here he sees Anna's family picture and a book whose name was Grimoire of the Eastwood Witch. Anna also notices that Mulder has been reading this book for a long time. And about this, she tells Mulder that actually her husband, who is the chief police officer, has a lot of interest in the history of witches and magic. And this is also their local story, so they keep reading it. Now Mulder had also been here for a long time. He also starts going from here, and as soon as he was about to leave, Emily sees the voice and attracts them to her. And pointing towards the TV, she says that I had seen Mr. Jackalteat in the jungle that day. At this time, the Jackalteat show was going on TV. On the other hand, Scully, who had come to the police station at this time, says to the chief police officer that I think his dad is behind the murder of Andrew. In response, the officer says that this is nonsense. The day and time when Andrew was murdered, his dad was on duty with us. Scully still doesn't listen to him, and one question after another is asked, the answer to which the chief officer did not have. That's why he says, okay, if you want to talk to his dad, let's go there. When these people reached Andrew's dad's office, one day they found out that Andrew's dad has gone to catch a criminal. Before going after him, Scully checks his computer, from where Scully found out that Andrew's dad is looking for a sex offender in his area, who blackmails women by calling them hairy ass. And according to his research, he found out about a man named Peter, who was at home at this time. Andrew's dad thought that he was the one who killed his son. Thinking this, he went to Peter's house. And now his chief and his agent Scully were also following him. Andrew's dad goes to that man's house and starts shouting. Here the chief calms him down with great difficulty. Here Scully, who had come with him, calls her partner. That is, the agent calls Walter and tells him that he has come to a new suspect's house. That is, he has come to a man's house on whom the police suspect that he has killed Andrew. Mulder, who was at the site of Andrew's murder at this time, also goes to Scully. And behind him, we see that a very big black dog was watching him. And Mulder himself noticed this thing. Coming to Scully, he says to Scully, I don't think Peter must have killed Andrew. I still think that there is some spiritual thing behind him, because he had still seen that black dog in the jungle, which according to him was the guardian of hell. But they couldn't get any results from any theory so soon. At Scully's behest, Mulder and Scully both go to Peter's house for an investigation, where they see a strange shoe and a monkey. Mr. Shruggledeath's mask was also kept near these shoes. And as Amelia told us, she saw Mr. Shruggledeath in the jungle. So now it was possible that this man killed Andrew. All the evidence was now for this man. But now Scully was very confused because Mulder was still not accusing this man. In response, Mulder says, I am not saying that this man did not commit any murder. I am just saying that he did not murder Andrew, and we should not make such a big decision behind a little evidence. After the scene, we are shown Andrew's neighbor, Amelia, who was watching her cartoon show on Stein TV. She liked this cartoon character a lot. Suddenly, she noticed that this cartoon character is also on the doorstep of her house. She is calling him to her. She smiles at him. From behind, her mom was calling him for lunch. But when Amelia did not listen to her mom, Anna found Amelia at the lodge in distress, but she was nowhere. After a while, it is known that the police and FBI agents have also found her dead body in the jungle. Someone has killed her in the same way as Andrew was killed. As soon as Anna found out, she also ran into the jungle. Anna was now not in her senses. She was moving towards Amelia, as if she would bring her back to life. But here the police officers take care of her. Here, Mulder, who was investigating this murder scene, saw some white things below. He started removing leaves from here. He saw a circle of white salt in this place. Seeing this, Mulder is in shock. He tells Scully that such cycles are often made to call spirits or demons. In the 16th and 17th centuries, this was a fashion. At that time, witches used to call demons to perform their magic. They were such spirits that could change the face of any animal, human, or anything. They could even take the form of a human. These souls are called familiars, and these familiars change the face of their favorite thing to kill any human. Like his favorite human, animal, even his favorite toy or cartoon character. Now Mulder removes more leaves from here, and he sees a skull sign below. Mulder says, "Look, I told you. This is the place where demons and spirits are called." After seeing all this, he goes to the chief officer, because Mulder felt that the chief officer was behind all this, who was trying to keep everyone away from the truth, because Mulder had seen the witch's book at the chief officer's house. Hearing this, the chief officer was also very confused. He felt clearly that he was hiding something. Mulder asks him, "You are behind this black magic, right?" First of all, he doesn't say anything. But after Mulder's insistence, he says, "No, I'm not behind it. Yes, I admit that I was trying to divert you all from this case, but not because I did all this. I'm not behind this murder." But he says, "Yes, it's my fault. That day when Andrew disappeared, it was actually me who was trying to harass his mom. He avoided Andrew because of me, and Andrew disappeared. That was my only fault." The chief officer was also very guilty of this act. After he left, Mulder told Scully that this case is the same as I'm telling you. Someone has opened the door of hell's agony here with their magic, and this is the reason behind all these murders. On the other hand, it is shown that Andrew's dad still had doubts about the man he had gone to his house before. He tells everyone the truth about this man here, and everyone starts hitting him in anger. As soon as AJ, Mulder, and Scully get this news, they come here and try to handle the situation. Scully shows everyone her badge and tells everyone that she is an FBI agent. And if everyone doesn't stop hitting this man, she will put everyone under the charge of attempt to murder. Everyone stopped at what she said. But then, Andrew's dad shot and killed that man without thinking twice. Although that man was not at fault either. As a result of killing such an innocent man, he himself goes to jail. And after a few days, his court trial takes place. Andrew's dad was released during the hearing in court. First of all, he was guilty, and the man he killed was already a criminal. But despite all this, he had to pay a $5,000 fine. And during the hearing, we see Mulder and Scully talking to each other. Mulder was telling Scully that whoever has opened the gate of hell, or whoever has done that ritual and magic, is also sitting with us in this room. We just have to keep our eyes open. As soon as these two agents come out of the court, a police officer was already waiting for them outside. He tells them that neither is his dad behind Andrew's murder, because that day he was on duty and was 40 kilometers away from Andrew. And neither is the man behind it who was killed by Andrew's dad. This officer was actually called by these two agents from some other city for investigation, because now these two local officers here did not trust him. We are shown Andrew's dad, who had now returned home. But even after coming home, he was not happy, but more disturbed. Because of all this case, he found out the worst fact. He found out that there was a relationship between his wife and his chief officer, because of which the chief officer harassed him. In this way, he lost his sight from his son. And because of this horrible work of his son's life was also lost. Hearing all this from her husband's mouth, Andrew's mom gets even more worried. She herself could not get out of the grief of Andrew's death. Hearing her husband's words, she gets even more upset and takes the car and leaves. And from behind, her husband goes to take revenge for his daughter's death from the chief officer. Here, when Andrew's mom was driving, she saw Andrew standing in the middle of the road through the middle of the forest. To save him, he turned his car. So badly, his car turned and he had an accident. Andrew's dad, who had now come to the chief officer's house. He does not see anything inside the house except darkness. Then, at a distance, he sees Mr. Ciccalti, whom he started following. But as soon as Mr. Ciccalti went behind, Ciccalti disappeared from there. This happened to him not once, not twice, but 3 times. The 4th time, he heard Ciccalti walking on TV. And as soon as he was about to watch the Ciccalti show on TV, someone came behind him. And this was none other than Mr. Ciccalti. He was going to shoot him with his gun and kill him. But then the chief officer also came here, who saw Rick Kenny, Andrew's dad, as if he had pointed a gun at him. Before Rick could shoot him, the chief officer shot him and killed him. Agent Mulder and Scully, who were nearby, also heard the sound of the bullet. When they both came and checked, they found Andrew's dad dead here. Seeing this, both of them were shocked. And now these people also know that something bad is going to happen next. When these two come out of the house, they see a circle of salt outside the house. Thinking something, Agent Mulder goes back inside the house and see that there was no witch's book there. Seeing this, these people now headed towards the crime scene in the jungle, while we were shown that the chief officer was also looking for Diane, Andrew's mom. While looking for him, he also reached near the jungle, where he saw Andrew's mom's car upside down. But the surprising thing was that Andrew's mom was standing in the jungle, and she was calling him towards her. And Andrew's mom suddenly disappears into the jungle. He also went inside the jungle to find her. He was so happy to find Andrew's mom that he did not even see the corpse of Andrew's mom lying near the jungle. It clearly meant that Andrew's mom was dead. And now what he was seeing was either a hallucination or a spirit in the form of Andrew's mom. The chief officer also goes far into the jungle, where he sees his wife, Anna, behind the jungle, in the circle of many candles. It was a magic circle. It was a magical circle in which she was standing and doing black magic, with the help of that book, which we had seen at her house. And seeing this, we come to know that in reality, Andrew and his daughter Emily's death was no one else but Anna, who had started all this black magic. Anna accepts all this. She agrees that yes, I did black magic, but I didn't want Andrew and Emily to die. I just wanted the chief officer and Diane to get a lesson. The betrayal they were doing with their partners. Just let them get their lesson. She had no idea that she would have to lose her daughter behind this rich purpose. And poor Andrew will also be killed. Anna also got a lesson. After her daughter's death, she was also in grief. And now she wanted to stop all this. During these talks, Anna sees that the chief officer has been attacked by that black dog, who was actually a guard of hell. She didn't even want to kill her husband. And now, seeing him die in front of her eyes, she screams loudly. Meanwhile, we see that Agent Mulder and Scully had also come here, who saw Anna standing in that magic circle. And they understood the whole story. Here, Mulder wanted to talk to Anna. He says to Anna, "Give me this book. I will tell you another way." But Anna doesn't listen to him. And while reading some magical spells of this book, she also kills herself. As soon as she was finished, the door to hell that she had opened here also closed. The shocking thing was that the fire in which she was burning to death, that book did not burn in that fire, from which she was doing magic by reading, which now Scully keeps with her as a proof. Because this was the first case of his life, in which spiritual things were involved behind all the murders. And then Mulder comes and says that I have trusted you. What you were saying was all right. Their case was also over now. And finally, these people leave this city now. After their departure, we are shown the same swing from behind again, on which there was an entry at the start of the movie. That means the story did not end here. There was still something left to see. But with this, the series ends here.